News reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Yeah, you see me long hair, don't care till my braids out, you know what I mean? They coming back, but, you know, I couldn't wait till I get spiffy to actually get y'all the news. This shit happen in real time, so I gotta let y'all know. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, make sure you check out blackfilesnews.com/shop if you actually want to support the movement, keep us independent, keep us rolling. We got different paraphernalia, different color, shapes, and sizes to match anything in your wardrobe, keeping you swaggy, you know what I'm saying? Even from my Still I Grind line, the line that's actually introduced to promote my mixtape and my album, Still I Grind, @still_I Grind on Instagram. If you want to check that out, and the album is on the way. But we got the Christmas sweaters on deck. You know what I mean? Everything, you know, it's all different sorts of things. Make sure you check that out and support us as we continue to support y'all. Now, as far as this COVID-19 relief package has actually been approved of by lawmakers yesterday. They agreed on it. They expected to sign it today, and the White House has said that Trump is actually expected to sign it now. Here's the nitty gritty of that. It's $900 billion of a stimulus package. This actually will include emergency aid for the American people, essentially. I mean, definitely for small businesses. You're gonna have something for the people that are. It's nothing for undocumented migrants, but you know, it might have something for their spouses or whatever. It'll be aid relief for you know, small businesses, schools, and daycares, and all of that. You actually have $600 going out to every American adult that makes under $75,000 a year. Now, that's half of the $1,200 that was actually a stimulus check that was actually sent to people earlier this year for COVID-19. And honestly, on a global scale, America's doing poorly on that front, supporting their people as far as providing us with assistance, but monetary assistance. But anyway, this actually comes as also with $600 per child for every qualified adult. You also have $25 billion in aid going towards renters assistance. A 1-month extension on the moratorium that they had on evictions. Moratorium being a big fancy word for basically just pausing evictions countrywide throughout the U.S. But you also have a aid set aside for vaccine distribution. What it does not include state and local aid assistance, which the Democrats were fighting for, and it doesn't include corporate liability protection from, you know, these corporations, workers actually contracting COVID-19. That protection is something that the Republicans were fighting for. Well, it doesn't include that. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what this does. But $600, I mean, that's not even paying a lot of rents out here. So I'm not sure what kind of justification these millionaire lawmakers could have for agreeing to that, or, you know what I mean, trying to like keep it that low. But you know, I guess it's better than nothing, but compared to these other countries and what they seem to be giving their citizens in order to get through this pandemic, it's falling very short. Green War on graduation. Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report. Yeah, you see me long hair, don't care, you know what I mean? Till my braids out, you feel me? They coming back. I still gotta give y'all that real though. Right now you have, this is after a week of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine actually going out all across the country. You saw displays of people actually getting inoculated with the vaccine on television. You know, the first wave of vaccines was supposed to go towards like the healthcare workers and people that are either residents or staff that are in these nursing homes, right? And mind you, yeah, some of them public inoculations was looking shady, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. But I told you on Friday how the emergency use authorization for the Moderna vaccine had actually been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. Well, today the first injections for the Moderna vaccine are expected to go on after they were actually, you know, you had millions of doses passed out to over 3,700 locations yesterday. So right now we are going to see what this Moderna vaccine is doing. It's said to be effective. Obviously they approved of it. We will see how this all turns out and what is the spill forward. Mind you, that emergency use authorization is for people who are 18 years of age and older, and it is actually expected that the CDC the Center for Disease and Control and Prevention actually had an advisory panel yesterday say that they believe the second wave of vaccines should actually be administered towards essential workers. Basically, this includes teachers. We're talking about like daycare staff. We're talking about police and firefighters. We're talking about grocery store workers. So it'll be interesting how this works out. We'll see if there are any public inoculations on this, and then we can see if they really injecting these people or they just, got these little makeshift fake needles that they putting in people. You know what I mean? Green War on Graduation. News report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. Yeah, you see me long hair, don't care. You know what I mean? Braids coming back. I had to take them out, but just still gotta let y'all know what's going on right now. Canada, Russia, India, they actually joined a growing list of countries that are banning the United Kingdom from travel into their country. Now, this comes as British health officials actually said that there is a new strand of coronavirus that's actually sweeping the country and is out of fucking control. Now, they literally out of control is what they said. Now, you have this mutation of a virus that's believed to be 70% more contagious than the initial COVID-19 strand. But it's not believed to be more deadly. Now, scientists are actually skeptical of this claim because it hasn't been peer reviewed, and they feel like there's no evidence that suggests that this mutation will actually affect the effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccines. We will see, people. We will see. Right now, London and all east of England is on strict lockdown. So stay woke, y'all. Green War on Graduation. Report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So President-elect Joe Biden has actually developed a team that he said is going to tackle the existential threat of climate change. This is actually going to be the Council on Environmental Quality, the CEQ, which is going to be headed by a Brenda Mallory. Now, in doing so, she actually said that they're going to tackle, they're going to work with a broad range of partners to tackle a broad range of issues, including tackling climate change and dealing with preserving the national treasures of this nation, the nation being the United States, as well as centering environmental justice and helping communities cope with legacy environmental impacts. So stay woke. Green War on Graduation. Report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. Yo, pardon me, y'all. I know my hair woofing. I just had to take the braids out. Long hair don't care, my steez, but the braids is coming back. But I gotta let y'all know what's happening out here. You got Trump still trying to work on find ways to desperately overturn the election results. He actually apparently had a heated meeting in the Oval Office on Friday that actually included his pardoned former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and his attorney Sidney Powell, somebody who actually have promoted these theories, conspiracy theories on rigged voting machines for this past election or whatever. And he had them as his legal counsel on the matter. They apparently, it didn't come into being anything. Powell was somebody who was actually, for her remarks, ousted from Trump's campaign team. So campaign legal team, that is. So we'll see what happens. Apparently Trump also discussed using martial law to overturn this situation. And this is something that Michael Flynn had actually suggested a week prior. Powell was back at the White House Sunday night, so it seemed like that might be a plan they go with. Green War on Graduation, y'all. Brace yourself. Report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So, and yet another last effort to overturn the election results. You got Trump asking the Supreme Court of the United States, SCOTUS, to overturn the judges in Pennsylvania and actually throw out 100,000 mail-in ballots. So we'll see where that ends up. In similar news, you have in Georgia, a federal judge had actually rejected a request by Georgia Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue on preventing people who new Georgia residents from voting for this next election, for the runoff elections on January 5th, for the senators in Georgia, if they voted in November. out of the state. So they basically rejected that because that's just not how that shit works. You know what I'm saying? There's never been a time where really you couldn't do that. And, you know, funny enough, you know, because people will point that out, or Republicans will say, like, that's, you know, signs of election fraud and Democrats trying to steal the election. But it's on record that it's actually Republican officials that were actually suggesting that people need to change their residency to Georgia so that they can actually win these Georgia runoffs that are taking place on January 5th. Just to give y'all some background on the gravitas, you know what I'm saying, of the scenario. Whoever, if two Democrats actually come out as being the senators of Georgia, meaning if the Democrats win both runoff elections and get Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue out there, that means that the Senate will be divided, 50 Republicans and 50 Democrats, and therefore any vote that goes onto them, if everybody were to just stick to their parties, then the vice president will actually give the swing vote. And we know who the vice president is, right? You better act like you know. Green War and Graduation though. Before the other New World Order, Bishop Grady let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. Hey yo, it's on right now in Iraq. There was at least one person injured yesterday, on Sunday that is, when there actually was a volley of missiles that were sent to the U.S. Embassy in Iraq, in Iraq's heavily fortified green zone. Now, apparently, there was an anti-missile defense system that actually intercepted a lot of the rockets, preventing a lot of damage. But keep in mind the time we're in. We're pulling up on the anniversary or the death anniversary of Trump assassination on General Qasem Soleimani, who was basically over the military in Iran, considered to be the second most powerful person in that country, who was killed by a U.S. drone strike on January 3rd near Baghdad International Airport. So, you know, retaliation seemed like a Green War and Graduation. Before the other New World Order, Bishop Grady let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report, man. Pardon the hair, long hair, don't care. I just took my braids out, you feel me? But they coming back though. I ain't gonna leave y'all looking at an ugly motherfucker every time I do these reports, but y'all gotta deal with it right now. Giving y'all this news though. Yesterday or Sunday in Afghanistan, there was actually a bomb that exploded, a car bomb rather, that exploded in the capital of Kabul, that actually left 9 people dead and 15 injured, including a parliamentarian. Now, that happened Sunday, whereas on Friday, there was in Afghanistan's Ghazni province, there was actually a bomb that went off that left 15 dead and 20 injured, and there were children among the victims. So keep all of this in context when you think about how the top U.S. General, Mark Milley, the Joint Chiefs of Staff chair, actually had unannounced peace talks with the Taliban in Qatar just a few days ago. And the significance of that is it's been the Taliban and Afghan government that have actually been warring, going back and forth. So we'll see how this turns out. Green War and Graduation. Before the other New World Order, Bishop Grady let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. Now, it is said that over in India, over 24 protesters have actually died since these protests against Prime Minister Narendra Modi's attempt to deregulate the agricultural market have actually sparked these protests that have gone on starting last month or whatever, and going on nationwide. You got tens of thousands of farmers that are camping outside of New Delhi with this protest. And it's believed that half of the people who have died have actually died due to the harsh winter that's actually going on in India right now. Green War and Graduation. For the other New World Order, Bishop Grady let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So make sure you check out blackfilesnews.com/opportunities if you're a young business owner, a hustler, or you got your own brand that you're trying to promote. Fuck with us, especially if you want the people that's buying your stuff to be conscious buyers, because it's the conscious buyers that will keep supporting you, because there's not a lot of conscious product out here, you know what I'm saying? But definitely check that out. Get with our you can tap into our followings across multiple social media platforms, and we can handle some business like that, and it'll still be supporting us as we continue to support y'all, give y'all this real. Now, over in the Fiji, they actually have declared a climate emergency, basically, after Cyclone Yasa actually flattened out entire villages, and it killed 4 people, including a 4-month-old baby. Now, the Prime Minister of Fiji, Frank Bainimarama, had actually said that he sounded the alarm over like the increasing frequency and strength of these cyclones, saying this is not normal. This is a climate emergency. So that's where they stand, and they front line in this whole climate crisis right now, with them being out in the middle of the ocean where they at. You know what I mean? Green War and Graduation. Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So there was a report that was put out by the New York City Department of Investigation. This is actually the New York City Police watchdog, and they actually determined that through their investigation that the NYPD was not only they used excessive force and were completely unprepared to deal with like the racial uprisings that came this summer from the murder of George Floyd out there in Minnesota. Now, the crazy thing about it is there were over 2,000 people that were arrested in these protests that took place. Now you have Margaret Garnett, who's the commissioner for the department, actually saying that there were tactics like encirclement, or otherwise known as kettling, mass arrests, baton and pepper spray usage, and other tactics or whatever. These things reflected the NYPD's failure at striking a balance between caring for the safety of the public and of officers, and as actually respecting the right of people to assemble and protest, and their free speech and their First Amendment rights. So they definitely were, that's what they concluded, that they were carrying out excessive force. So this is no longer like just a completely biased opinion. Now there's been a report into it by somebody who's specifically there to make sure that the NYPD is actually doing what they're supposed to do. Now, similar news in Boston, you have a police sergeant that's actually been put on leave, as there is right now an investigation into their handling of the Black Lives Matter protest that resulted from the murder of George Floyd. And these actually included, some of these instances included police using pepper spray, very liberally, you know what I'm saying, and other abuses as well. Just the same thing, using excessive force. And a lot of y'all motherfucking coppers out here you taking that as an opportunity to pretend you was in the military, or you was in a fucking a Black Ops video game or some shit like that. There's even footage out there showing police themselves busting up windows, harassing people, and there's all types of lawsuits that have come from that, from the summer or whatever. Even though on the sneak tip we see officers also having dressed up as Antifa, having dressed up as protesters or whatever. There was even one motherfucking blackface up there in Minnesota that was actually arrested, and he was actually destroying property, trying to make it seem like it was Black Lives Matter or Antifa. So y'all, and not to mention there's even footage of police having piles of bricks, you know what I'm saying, that obviously seemed like it was going to be used to put into these protest areas so that the protesters could get mad and start damaging property, and then they could just say, oh, look at the Black Lives Matter people, look at Antifa, they just wilding out, going fucking crazy. It's like y'all motherfuckers wanted that to happen, and right now these watchdog apartments is on y'all ass. We the people got to make sure that these whatever charges come from that shit sticks, and whatever footage you have of it, share it. You know what I'm saying? If anything, give it to Black Fox News, give it to me over here. Check out Instagram, or go to or you can send it to Graduation Party 716 at yahoo.com, and we gonna make sure that shit is seen, because these are human rights atrocities, and just because we in the U.S. and the U.S. is known for protecting other countries abroad or whatever, don't mean we gotta take that fuck shit here. Green War and Graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Let me tell you how these fuck boy pigs actually be getting down when it comes to black bodies. You know what I'm saying? This is why people gotta say Black Lives Matter. Y'all motherfuckers saying Blue Lives Matter and White Lives Matter. In what incident does somebody, a blue life or a white life, actually get murdered and police arrive to the scene, and if that person is still alive but they're dying, they just let them die? Like, other than some sort of like corrupt setup or whatever, that doesn't happen. In this scenario, this happened with Ahmaud Arbery. There's new body cam footage that's out from the Georgia police in that situation when those 3 white men had shot Ahmaud Arbery. The body cam footage shows that Arbery was still alive when the police arrived at the scene, and they did nothing to help this man. They also didn't arrest Travis McMichael, one of the white dudes who had shot him, even though he admitted to shooting him. So they didn't, man, the lawyer for Arbery's family, Lee Merritt, my wife's brother, he said there's not been a point, I'm paraphrasing, but basically that there's not been a point in history where the murderer of a black man has gotten the deference that these men got. Now, I don't know how all the way true that is, because the U.S. has a history of just not giving a fuck about black men and black bodies or whatever, especially when niggas, even when niggas is unarmed and ain't do shit. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's still a passionate statement. And it's fucked up, man. Green Wall and graduation. Reporter of the New World, the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Seattle on Friday, in Cal Anderson Park, police had actually raided an encampment full of unhoused people, in other words, homeless motherfuckers, and actually ended up arresting 20 people in doing so. They gave them reportedly 15 minutes to actually disperse before they just started bum rushing and shit. Even had rubber bullets and that was going at the protesters that were at this site. Now, to echo what Nikita Oliver said, Nikita Oliver being a community organizer and a lawyer, it's kind of like to do so during the winter, during a pandemic, is inhumane. Like, why not offer those people some support or help? Like, they wasn't there trying to harm anybody or fucking shit up or whatever. Motherfuckers wonder why they wanted to defund the police. Like, y'all just over militarized and hyped up for nothing. What they feeding y'all, steroids or some shit? Now, at the end of the day, you can offer those people food, rental assistance, some sort of services or goods, a place to live, something, man. The CDC has actually even put out, it basically has recommended that all cities across the world, if you can't, to leave encampments alone, basically, if you can't like rehouse those people during this pandemic. So you going against what the CDC guidelines are, and you going against being humane. Green Wall and graduation. Reporter of the New World, the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So you have the Supreme Court of the United States, SCOTUS. They actually made a ruling Friday dismissing, I won't say a ruling, but they actually dismissed a lawsuit that came against Trump's plan to exclude undocumented migrants from the final census count. And they said that this lawsuit was actually, it was premature to like rule on this case, and that the lawsuit itself was like riddled with like contingencies and what ifs basically, and a lot of reaching. So they're gonna still, immigrants' rights activists are still gonna fight for this, and we'll see how that turns out. Green Wall and graduation. For the other New World, the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Yeah, long hair don't care. I know my shit woofing, man. I took my braids out. They coming back though. I'm gonna get back to looking spiffy for y'all, but I still gotta give y'all this information, man. These jewels is important. Fuck if I look good or not. But right now, today, you got members in Arizona, members of the San Carlos Apache Nation have called for a day of action today, Monday, for the basically in opposition of a copper mine that's being pushed by the Trump administration to be built in the sacred part of the Tonto National Forest. It's actually in this ancient forest known as the Oak Flat, that the members are warning that not only will this degrade something that's considered ancient, but it'll also, like, the raising of that area to allow for this copper mine will damage and contaminate a large swath of southern Arizona. Keep in mind that the Trump administration, this is like part of like these plans that they have trying to change federal land into like oil and like gas and drilling and mines, like basically turning these land, all this federal land, into money-making machines, essentially at the expense of, like, the environment, the treaties that they have with the Native Americans and whatnot. This is happening throughout the country, because I've told y'all in the past on what they was trying to do in Alaska. I've told y'all over the last couple of years how they've been trying to do that, open leasing sales for the land that's up there. But also you have over in South Dakota, there's actually a proposed uranium mine that is being pushed. You have in Nevada an open pit lithium mine that's in the works, and then you have a natural gas pipeline that's being built or being pushed for that'll run through Virginia and West Virginia, and it'll go under the Appalachian Trail. All of this coming in the last days of Trump's presidency. So he's trying to get that money set up so he can get out. I wonder how much he stands personally to make from this stuff, because it's always some backdoor shit going on with this man. Green Wall and Graduation. Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So I told y'all about that cybersecurity attack that actually happened on U.S. government data. That means much of our national security is actually compromised right now, and it was suspected that it was actually done by Russia, and they had tapped into this department, that department, all the important departments you could think of. Well, now it turns out that breach has actually extended to the U.S. agency that actually oversees our nuclear weapons, and like 5 other agencies or whatever. So it's looking really bad. You have Secretary of State Mike Pompeo saying that they're pretty sure that it was done by Russia, but you also have Trump out here saying that it may have been China, not Russia. So they trying to disinform. Somebody fucking lying, because they getting the same information. But nevertheless, you have Trump even going on Twitter saying, like, tweeting that everything is under control, trying to downplay the situation. But his former top advisor in the Department of Homeland Security, Tom Bossart, actually told the New York Times that it may take years to actually root out the effects of this breach, and that entire networks need to be built. So it's not a small situation at all. We don't know the ramifications of this scenario, and we in the middle. We can't even think about it, because there's been so many fireworks that have come from this Trump administration, and just from 2020 alone. But we'll see how this all turns out. Green Wall and Graduation.